this video, we'll be covering some math problems from Math Olympiad. These problems are great to prepare you for any upcoming math contest that you may have. They're also good for practicing. Without further ado, let's get into solving our first math problem. So, our first problem is, suppose a and b are integers and a plus b is an odd number. Which of the following is always true? 1. A minus 2b is even. 2. A times b is even. And 3. 4a plus b is even. Now, since a plus b is an odd number, as it says right here, we know that a has to be even and b has to be odd, or a has to be odd and b has to be even. So let's see all the scenarios we could do for this. So I'm going to set a to an even number, like let's say 8. And b could equal 3. And then for the second scenario, I'm going to switch these two numbers around. I'm going to set a to 3 and b to 8. Now, if the scenario is always true, that means it should work for both of these scenarios, because it says that it has to be always true. So let's see if equation 1 is always true. A minus 2b is even. So scenario 1 would be 8 minus 6, which is 2. So we know that is even. So far 1 is correct. Now let's check the second scenario. A equals 3 and b equals 8. So that would be 3 minus 16. And that would equal negative 13. Now, so we already know that since even though negative 13 would be a negative number, if we made it positive and crossed out the negative, it would be 13. And that would be an odd number. So this itself is not correct. So let's cross that out. And we know that 1 is not the solution. Now let's try scenario 2. So a equals 8 and b equals 3. So let's do 8 times 3, and that would equal 24. And of course, if we just switch this around, it would still equal 24, because multiplication does not change if you switch the numbers. Okay, so we know that scenario 2 works. So that we know is correct. So I'll just highlight scenario 2. Now let's try equation 3. Equation 3 says 4a plus b is even. So let's try it. So a equals 8 and b equals 3. So 32 plus 3 would equal 35. And this is not even, it is odd. So now let's try the other scenario. 12 plus 8 equals 20. Let me just fix my equal sign there. Okay, so we know that 12 plus 8 is 20, and that is even. But equation 3 is not correct because it doesn't work for scenario 1. So we can cross that out. So now we know equation 2 is the correct answer. If you got this, you were correct. Let's move on to the next problem. How many ways can the letters of the word triangle be arranged such that the letters angle appear consecutively and in that order? So, I think we should use the strategy of factorials for this, and let me show you why. So, triangle, it has to be arranged in so many ways that the letters angle appears consecutively and in the order of angle. So that means T, R, and I can be separate and anywhere they want, but angle has to stay together. And we have to find how many ways they can be arranged. So let's use factorials. Let's say that we make 4 groups for T, R, I, and angle. So if we make 4 groups, the first group will be T, the second group will be R, the third group will be I, and the fourth group will be the word angle because they have to stay together. So we don't make separate groups like for A, N, G, L, E, like how we could because we want them to stay together. So like if we circle all of these in a group, T, R, I, and angle, we will not split angle up like this for A as one group, N as one group, G as a group, and so on. Because angle must appear consecutively. So we have 4 groups. And we have 4 factorial because we have all the ways to arrange this. So 4 things to choose from for the first time, 3 things to choose from for the second time, then 2 things to choose from for the third time, and 1 group to choose from for the last time. And that's 4 factorial. 4 times everything that comes before it. And that would equal 24. So there are 24 ways the letters of the word triangle can be arranged such that the letters angle appear consecutively and in this order. So if you got 24, you were correct. Now, let us move on to the next problem. In an online math practice test, Junaid attempts exactly 3/4 of the problems and answers 5/8 of those problems correctly. When he submits the test, he finds that he answered 105 problems correctly. How many math problems were on his test? So 105 problems we know is 5/8 of 3/4 of the test. So let's multiply 105 times 1/5 because it is only 5/8 of 3/4 of the test. So to find what is 8/8 or exactly 3/4 of the tests, we need to multiply 105 times 1/5 first to find how much is 1/8 of 3/4 of the test. So 105 times 1/5 or 105 divided by 5 is 21. So let us write that down. Okay, so now that we wrote that down, we know that 105 divided by 5 is 21, and 1/8 of 3/4 of the problem is 5/8. So let's multiply 21 times 8 to get exactly 3/4 of x, which is the total amount of problems. So this would be 168. So now that we have our answer, we have to multiply 168 times 1/3 because it is 3/4 of the amount of problems on the test. So we do 168 divided by 3. And if we do 168 divided by 3, we would get 56. So now that we know that 1/4 of the problems on the test is 56, so let's multiply 56 by 4. So 6 times 4 is 24, and 5 times 4 is 20, plus 2 is 224. So there were 224 problems on Junaid's test. Now let us move on to the next problem. Joey has a piece of paper. He folds it in half once vertically and once horizontally. The new dimensions of the paper are 4 by 6. What was the area of the paper originally? So, if Joey folds the piece of paper in half once vertically and once horizontally, we know that the dimensions would be cut in half. So 4 times 2 and 6 times 2 would be the original dimensions because the dimensions were cut in half. So the length would be 8 and the width would be 12. So, and then the length divided by 2 and width divided by 2 is the operation they did when they're folding in half once vertically and once horizontally. So we know 4 times 2 is 8 and 6 times 2 is 12. So now we know the original dimensions. 8 by 12. So we might get all excited and say, oh yeah, I have the answer now because we have the original dimensions. But we have to read the questions. Because if you said 8 by 12 is the answer, you'd be wrong. This is actually not the answer. So, let's read the question again. It said, what was the area of the paper originally? Not the dimensions, the area. So, to figure out the area, all we have to do is multiply 12 by 8. So, with 12 times tables, that would be 96. So, we just have to write that down. Okay, perfect. So now we know our answer, 96. Make sure you don't give 8 by 12 as the answer, because that would be marked wrong. Okay, so now that this problem is solved, let us go to the next problem. So, Haley opens her favorite mathematics puzzle book and notes that the product of the page numbers facing her is 1560. Find the sum of these two page numbers. So, if the page numbers, the sum is 1560. We know that page 2, which is the second page number, is 1 greater than page 1. So let's go with the idea that the square root would be something similar to the answer. So P2 would equal P1 plus 1. So once we figure out P1, we can figure out P2. Okay, so let's try to find the square root of 1560. So, whatever way you find out the square root of 1560, I'm not going to show you the method here, but whatever method you use, you would find that it's something close to 39. It would be 39 times 39.4. And then it would keep going on and on as a decimal. But we already know that page 1 would be 39 because it is the square root. So now we have to figure out page 2. And that's easy because we know page 1 plus 1 is page 2. So page 2 would equal 40. So now, to confirm this, we would just have to do 39 times 40. And if we do 39 times 40, we would get 1560. So if you want to confirm for yourself, you can do that. Otherwise, we now have the answer. Well, not exactly. We now have the two page numbers, but we need to find the sum of them. So we just add 40 and 39. So that would equal 79. And that is our answer. Now that we have solved this problem, let us move on to the next problem. The 5-digit number 3M8M5 is divisible by 9. What is the value of the digit M? So, let me show you a trick for finding if a number is divisible by 9. Add all the digits, and the sum of all the digits must be a multiple of 9 or 9. And if you continue to keep adding, it should eventually get you to 9. So, let's take 36, for example. It's a multiple of 9, and it adds to 9. And then we could go on with 45, and then 54. And they all add to 9. 4 plus 5 is 9, 5 plus 4 is 9. And even 108, a 3-digit number, which is a multiple of 9, 9 times 12 adds to 9. So now that we know that, let us try using it for 3M8M5. Let us replace M with all the choices, A, B, C, D, E. So let's try 30805. So 3 plus 8 is 11, and 11 plus 5 is 16. And that is not a multiple of 9. And if we add 1 and 6, we get 7, not 9. So A is not correct. Let's go to B. 31815. 31,815. Now, if we add the digits, 3 plus 1 is 4, then plus 8 is 12, plus 1 is 13, plus 5 is 18. And 18 is a multiple of 9, and if we add 1 plus 8, we'd get 9. So we know that B is the correct answer. So now we can circle B, and that is the answer for this problem. So this simple trick can help you a lot in problems like these because you don't even have to do all the choices and divide it. Now we are done with all of our problems. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it informative. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments section below. Be sure to subscribe and click on the bell icon so you never miss a video. There's a new feature on my channel called memberships. If you would like, you can pay a small amount of money each month to get access to exclusive features, such as members-only videos and exclusive access to videos before they go public. There are several other perks that you could get. Just check it out by going on the join button in my channel if you would like. Have a wonderful time!